All right, here we go. I am here with my good friend Michael Mays. We just got done going to the gym and he taught me a whole bunch of new techniques. My shoulders hurt, my chest hurts. I don't know what it's going to feel like tomorrow, but I do know that was a lot of fun, and I appreciate you teaching me the stuff that you taught me today. It's really great. On a side note, before we get to it, if anybody, I just now thought of this, but if anybody decides that they want to send me a direct message on Instagram for one of their favorite workout routines for any type of thing that they want to do at the gym, send it to me. I will do it at the gym. I'll talk about it the next time, about what I thought, how sore I am, or if I think it was helpful for me or not. Aside from that, Michael Mays, how are you?
Oh man, I'm pumped right now. No pain, no gain, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm feeling it after that. But like you were saying, our favorite exercise, mine's a front curl, reverse grip.
Try and help them visualize what a front curl reverse grip is.
All right, front curl reverse grip, you have a little squiggly bar, right? And when you grab it like it's a bicycle and a set of handlebars. So you grab with your knuckles wrapping over the top of the bar.
Okay.
And when you go to curl it, you just, like you would a normal curl, except for having your hands flipped over the opposite way, you pull it up to your chest.
So you're curling backward.
Practically, yes. And that builds more or less your forearms.
Okay, that's cool, man. So can you, aside from that specifically, tell the listeners what it is that we did today so they can figure out maybe if they are interested in doing it?
Okay, we did a bunch of chest and shoulder exercises. We did some wide grip pull downs, some rows.
What would you call those, the like resistance band wires that we were pulling forward as hard as we could?
Those were flies. That's where
flies.
That's where we kind of have it's a split cables. It's the machine on each side of you, and you have I guess a handle in each hand, and you step forward and put resistance on the wire, and you practically extend your arms as far out as your chest, like you would be to like flap your wings or something, and then you go to just arms fully extended, straight out. Clap them together.
It sounds weird, but it's pretty awesome, and I was really, really sore afterwards. But off the gym thing, hopefully some of you can try it. What have you been doing lately? What's going on in your life? I know that you got a new job. I know that you're doing some welding stuff and making some sign things for some people. Why don't you tell me about just what's going on in your daily?
Heck yeah, well, I love my new job. I got one here recently in January. The day-to-day flow is I'm literally just cutting and slapping pieces of metal together. It's like puzzles all day. So it's pretty fun. I've been making these things called channel letters, where it's a lot of bending flat pieces of metal into these boxy, bubbly-looking letters. That's been really unique and fun as a job. Otherwise, welding, I've gotten a lot better with my welding skills. It's pretty fun.
What's your favorite type of welding?
I like MIG steel.
What is that?
MIG welding's it's the wire-fed gun. It's not like the TIG where you have a torch and you're actually dabbing the metal in, and it's just a lot easier, already all there for you. And
so I feel like a lot of people, when they think of welding, they think of that like big mask over your face so you don't get blinded, and a really powerful torch, and they're just like going hard with sparks everywhere and stuff like that. Is that something that you normally do on a daily basis, or have they got like all these different styles of welding?
Well, yeah, there's different types of welding. A lot of ours, for like the channel letters, it'd be tacks, but for more structural metals, we have to actually lay down some beads. And it's pretty fun, but the tack's more of a, you don't have to wear the mask. You can just actually wear some regular like safety glasses, and it's a quick bap.
So it's just like really hot metal that's just already coming out?
What it is the electric current is so hot that it just immediately melts the filler metal that's touching it, creating the current, and the metal itself that is touching. So it travels through the ground that you clamp onto it.
Yeah.
And so it practically just heats it up with a really, really high current.
I have absolutely no idea how to weld anything, and I know a little bit of what you're talking about only because I've been watching some of your Instagram feed, which is really cool to see that sort of stuff. So as far as I can tell, you're making signage for companies?
Yes, we have contracts for Georgia Power, SunTrust, a bunch of huge names: Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Arby's, Wendy's.
So, like, for example, there's a huge building that's in the middle of Atlanta, and it's one of the tallest out there, and on the outside of the building, in huge letters, it says Georgia Power.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if you guys are doing anything.
Yep,
you guys did that?
When we also were doing the new Georgia Tech one that's supposed to be some 300 feet in the air. The letters are taller than I am. I can fit inside the letters.
So these letters are absolutely massive.
Yes. In the Piedmont Park, it's the Olympic Park, downtown Atlanta, where they have the huge Olympic rings that they had recently placed.
I haven't seen those, but I'll make sure to check them out. It's
a huge sculpture, but we happen to do it for the city. And they made us, we literally used miles of welding wire for this. And it's so structurally sound, it's made for kids to, like, play on, like, monkey bars.
And what would you call this so I could look it up or somebody else could look it up?
It's the art structure, the Olympic rings, and the Centennial State Olympic Park, I believe.
Okay, Centennial Olympic State Park?
Or yeah, something like that. I can't remember.
Okay.
It's right where Coca-Cola and Georgia Power, or not Georgia Power, but the Georgia Aquarium is.
That's cool, man. I'm going to have to check that out. I didn't know that you guys did big scale stuff like that. I thought maybe it was for, like, subway signs or something like that. I didn't know it was so large. That's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
I'm interested in that. I'm going to check all that out a little bit more. Maybe I can talk you into letting me come down and check it out one day or something.
Yeah,
that'd be a lot of fun. Learn something. So, I know that you have been doing a lot of little random side projects lately. I just hear you always talking about things that you want to do or accomplish. I know you have some secret project going on in your mind, at least. I don't know if you've made it a reality. You might not want to tell people about that. It could be a $1 billion idea, but I know that project specifically has something to do with magnets, and it's pretty cool. But aside from that, you're working right now on, I believe it was a pressure washer?
Yeah, actually, I found a pressure washer on the side of the road, a 5-finger discount. Somebody was throwing it away. You know how your house has GFI's little amp breaker boxes?
Yeah, right.
On the wall. Well, this one had one built into the wire. It's an electric pressure washer, so it had it built into the wire. And I realized that it wasn't tripping, so I just cut it straight out of there, and I hooked it up to one of the power cords or, like, power strips that you would your TV. So it practically replaced it and done the same thing that one breaker did within the line.
I don't know what you just said, but that sounds technical and cool. I wish that I understood that better.
Well, it happened to work out for me.
That's cool, man. So what makes you, when you see something on the side of the road like that, what in your brain says, I want to bring that into my world and tinker with it?
Even though it might be broken, I don't know. I've always had a knack for fixing things. Ever since I was a little kid, my parents would always just toss me the old electronics or microwave or laptops and desktops my way, and I would just pull them apart, put them back together, and see if I could get them to work again.
Would you say you prefer destroying things to see what they look like, or would you say that you prefer fixing and putting things back together?
Okay, a lot as a kid, it was destroying things. It was really fun to destroy things and see what they look like on the inside, but as an adult, seeing parts and pieces everywhere, more or less I want to throw everything back together. Like, so I won't really go to work on anything now unless I know I have the parts and tools for it.
Okay, so you've done so much with the tinkering and mechanic work that you know on a roundabout way what you might need in order to do that project.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
That's cool, man. So it's just knowledge.
Yeah, well, I guess slowly built up, gaining knowledge over. I just love to see how things work. I have a really mechanical mind, and I can sit here and look at something from afar and break it down and like have like a whole 3D mock-up of it in my mind.
That's just you see, everything, the way that I think is analytical, right? When I think about something, I think, I know that works because there's electricity going to it. Mm-hmm. I don't think of how that electricity is getting to it or where that electricity is coming from. I know that if I plug my phone charger into the wall, I know that item works because there's electricity flowing through it, and there are prongs and there's pieces that are touching that are creating that connection for the current to pass through.
Yes.
When you think of a phone charger, a base attached into the wall, and that current going through it and connecting to the phone, how would you say that maybe your brain differs from mine?
Well, I first look at it and I know that the circuitry has to be broken down from 120 volts to 12 volt DC current. Like in your phone battery pack.
Hold on a sec. Let's slow down here. So you're saying that you're thinking to yourself, I know that wall outlet is producing 120 volts of electricity.
It's too powerful for a cell phone.
Right. So you know that little wire is converting the amount of power that's coming through to your phone?
Yeah, well, I've actually, like I said, as a child, I've literally blown up cell phones right in front of me. I've tried to make my own wall blocks as a child. This is dangerous now. Like,
okay, so don't do this.
Don't do this. I've always been taught not to mess with the wiring that's been plugged up. Now, you can mess with all the wiring you want, and then like plug it up to test it out, but like don't mess with anything that's already pre-plugged up.
Okay.
What happened was I had one of those little wall blocks fry on me. I heard it zip, bzz, not working. So I tried to direct link wire straight to the plug as a child. You know what I mean?
On a 120?
Yeah, on 120. Yeah.
Okay.
See, so it's trial and error. You got to think somebody like Thomas Edison had to sit there and like zap himself 1,000 times before he's like, okay, it doesn't work this way.
Yeah, that hurts. I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So let me think of a different route. So have you ever shocked yourself with a 220 before?
Oh, 220 dryers all the time. Yes.
All right. So I'm pretty sure it was a 220 because I talked to somebody later and they told me it was, but this was 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. I was in Arizona and we were on a volleyball court, right? And it was nighttime and we decided that we were going to go sit in the hot tub. Mm-hmm. And I wanted, big street lights like that one right there?
Yeah.
All right, so a big street light just like that. Well, they had those bright orange lights on the volleyball court and it's nighttime. I'm trying to sit there and hang out with this person in the hot tub. We're doing whatever, and I want this light to be off. This is an apartment complex now. I don't want anybody to see me.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to know my business. So I decide I'm gonna go over to this light and I'm gonna unplug it. I don't know how any of this stuff functions, but I do know that there's this big breaker box or whatever that might be called, a wire box, whatever, and it's on the side of the pole, which, this pole is just as tall as that one. What is that? 50 feet in the air?
Yeah.
Okay, so 50-foot tall pole. And I open this box latch upward, right? All that's inside of it are two giant wires coming down in a V shape, like Back to the Future style, that thing that he had in the middle. I don't remember what it's called, but there's these two wires. They're connected to each other, and it's bare. There's nothing on the top of it. I don't know who decided that was a good idea, but the wires are bare. Thick copper wires intertwined into each other. I grabbed a hold of both of the rubberized sides of these wires and pulled them apart as hard as I could. When I did that...
You slipped?
Dude, my hands wrapped around the outside of the pole while holding onto these wires, touched together on the other side of the pole. So I'm hugging this pole, and I got electrocuted so hard that I screamed like a little girl. I screamed at the top of my lungs, and for about 4 whole seconds, I could not let go.
Yep.
I couldn't let go of it.
That's
and
crazy.
It was the most terrifying moment of my whole life.
That's crazy.
I don't know why I didn't die. I was wet. I just got out of the hot tub. It was a terrible idea.
Okay, your brain functions on hertz, current flow.
Okay.
Your brain functions on 20 to 120 hertz.
Yeah.
So that means that if we were to disrupt that power whatsoever, our brain waves traveling through our nerves to our muscles to make them twitch and stuff, that disruption causes us to cling on to whatever that was, that power source, and you can't let go unless I've seen somebody have to be kicked out of it.
Dang.
Yeah.
So you're saying that my brain said you won't function unless you're continuing to hold on to this?
Yeah, pretty much. You're just like a trap. It's like you're glued to it.
That's crazy.
Yep.
I'm glad that I was able to...
I'm surprised,
there was nobody
there. Sometimes people just fall stuck in that position.
Well, see, I think it was helpful because my arms were wrapped around it, so they were barely touching. So when I'm leaning back, trying to get away from it, I think that's what helped me loosen my grip. Okay. I think that made it so if I couldn't let go, I'd be done for. There was nobody there to help me. Yeah. It was nighttime. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. It's over. So...
Chest pains, arm pains.
It was
I bet
terrible.
you felt it all in here.
I felt it in my entire body, to my toes, to the top of my hair, man. It was the most terrible thing ever. I hope I never have to go through it again. That's why I don't mess with electrical stuff anymore. I learned my lesson, just like you were saying. You learn your lesson. I decided in my life I don't want to mess with that anymore.
I understand.
I'm glad there's people like you that can assist me with that in a proper way. So you have a beautiful, beautiful son. Mm-hmm. How old is he now?
He's 2.5.
He's 2.5.
Yeah, whole 2.5.
You named him after your father.
Well, he's actually named after me. He's the second, but he goes by his middle name, which is his grandfather's name, yes.
He goes by his middle name, but his first name is Michael?
Yes,
his first name is... So it's okay that I call him Baby Michael?
Yeah.
Okay,
a lot
all
of
right.
people call that.
I didn't know that. I was just calling him Baby Michael because you guys are identical. It's the craziest looking thing. Well, that's cool, man. So... What's going on in the relationship world? Do you got any advice? How are you holding it together?
Oh, man. Well, I guess my biggest thing is, like...
She might listen to this now. Be careful.
It don't matter. All right. I'm a heterosexual male, but when it comes to relationships or, like, having loved ones, I consider myself pansexual.
Okay.
I don't really...
Can you explain that?
Okay, my best way to explain that is... when you see your partner, you see them for their soul and for who they are, not for what they are now, because they're going to be something different. That makes sense. We all age and grow older.
Right.
I mean, like, I've fallen in love with the quirky little things, like how she laughs or the things that she does for me, not how she looks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my relationship advice to somebody would be love wholeheartedly and don't be afraid to, like, admit you're wrong.
Yeah.
And, like, cherish that other person. Because, I mean, like, all we are is just humans wanting that attention from someone else.
You want that
what
connection
I mean?
with somebody.
Exactly.
So you're saying in a relationship, you think it's important to pay attention to the actual characteristics of that other person and love the little things that they do.
Exactly, yeah.
And you think that that's going to be able to help out in the relationship.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
That's great, man. So when you're... We just took a short break for a moment. Sorry for the strange cut scene right there. But Michael just brought something up to me. And what his advice was, and it struck me when he said it, and it hit me really, really hard. When you're doing something, no matter what it is, you need to make sure that you're putting your whole focus and your whole heart into whatever it is that you're doing. Now, this is something that's coming natural to Michael. It's a regular, normal thing for him. Whatever he's doing, he's tunnel vision focused on it. And it means that you can't talk to him, you can't distract him from what it is that he's doing. Would I be right in saying that?
No, that's right.
Okay, so what I would say is, I'm posting these videos every day, right? And I'm on Instagram and I'm talking to people. I'm trying to help somebody else out there get motivated so they can live something beautiful to what I hope that I'm living right now.
Yes.
Now, what if I decided that when I post my videos, I put my whole heart and soul into what it is that I'm doing at that moment? Because right now, I'm driving, I'm paying attention to how much time is left in that video, I'm thinking analytically. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think that it would be good for me personally, and I'm sure some other people, if they would try as hard as they can to not be distracted by things around them. Now, can you give me some kind of an example of what you were just talking about with when you're working on something, you wish that somebody would be videotaping you, for example, or just watching you if they wanted to learn. Try and tell somebody how that works for you.
Well, I wanted to start a YouTube page here. It's still under Motor Michael, but I'd love to wrench on things. I have projects from a 1990 Jeep Cherokee to a 1984 Bluebird bus. Yeah, I said a bus.
A bus.
Yeah,
this is a
bus.
Real school bus, by the way. I've been in this. A full-size school bus. He's done so many crazy things in there. I don't even know how to describe it. He would have to do that for you, but please continue on.
My thing is, like we were talking about, everybody's always wanting me to make videos about it, but when I get into something, like he says, I'm kind of tunnel vision. I guess that's a little bit of ADD and ADHD, like trying to like fight its way into a working manner. But yeah, it's really hard to pick up a camera and get interested. Like, I love the whole aspect of actually photography, but I would have to do just photography or video for somebody else, because then I'm getting into a whole nother realm of focus where I'm having to make sure I have all my equipment, make sure I have all my software for video editing, and make sure that I'm actually getting a decent amount of videos and usable content. But it's just really difficult when my mind is set on fixing that item or whatever it is, because I still got to get my tools together, I got to get my parts together, and then I got to actually sit there and put my mind together to do it.
Right. So, for example, if you were working on a motor, right, you've got both your hands in that thing. You're in it. You're going hard at that motor.
I got oil on my hands. It'd be hard to stop and click on cameras and get oil all over stuff like that. You know what I mean?
All right. So here's what I say. I think that you need to get yourself a wireless microphone, and I think that you need to post a camera up somewhere that hopefully has some kind of a wide angle.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get the FaceTime, maybe that.
Well,
or maybe
I've got a
you
chest
can't.
mount for a GoPro that I've been thinking about using, but it would literally just show you the back of my hands doing the work the whole time.
Hey, man, you know what I think? I think that there are a lot of people out there, including myself. I am a YouTube fanatic when it comes to learning something, right? I learned so much stuff about how to fix my vehicle off from YouTube. I can't even begin to tell you.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything, man, and it's great. People crave that. People want to be able to go online privately, like I was saying earlier. Some people
learn within their own realm, like, so they don't have to be stressed about moving at somebody else's pace or not understanding why that works the way it does.
Yeah, they can pause the video. They can say, wait a second, I didn't get that fully. Let me rewind this and start over so I can re-go through that and live it with them at the same time. No matter how long it takes or how many tries.
Yeah, oh man, I've been there, trust me.
That's a beautiful thing, man. And I think that you have a lot of skills, man. You got a whole bunch of them. You know how to do all kind of crazy stuff that so many people have no idea where to even begin at. You should give that to somebody. You should give that to somebody as a gift, and hopefully it can help somebody else out in their world. Because you have a gift. It's only fair that you share it with other people, right? It's going to make you feel better too, right? I think that I have a gift for trying to help to motivate people or give them ideas or insight. I'm not good at it for myself at all. But I think that I'm good at giving advice to others, right? And so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I think that my voice can help somebody. So I'm giving up my time right now to help somebody else out. And I think that you should do the same thing. I think it's important. Matter of fact, if you need any assistance or you want some ideas or thoughts on how you can go about doing something like that, come and talk to me about it, because I'd be very interested in helping you.
I got you.
Yeah?
Sounds good to me.
That's cool, man. So I'm going to ask you a heavy question right now.
All right.
It's going to be real deep. And take all the time you need. Everybody's going to sit in silence while you think about it, or it just comes right to your head.
Okay.
First thing, right? If you had to describe yourself in a single word, one single word, what would it be? There might be a brief silence here. Don't mind it. Remember the Jeopardy thing where people were like...
I got it. I think I got it.
Okay, bring it on. Drop some knowledge.
Initiative.
Okay? Your word to describe yourself as a person that you're going with right now, or maybe your current mood, initiative. What brought that word to your mind?
Because without initiative, it's just a thought. Everything that you want to do in life or you think you can do, but you just think about it without initiative, it's just a thought.
So the quote from Michael Mays is, without initiative, it's just a thought. That's heavy. I hope that somebody hears that and they really sit back and think about it instead of just skimming over that moment. Without initiative, it's just a thought.
That just plays on like Nike or I like quoting what is it, Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf, yeah,
LaBeouf.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it. He screams that at you.
Just do it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I love it.
You're sitting there watching this guy, and he's yelling at you. You better get up and go and do something right now.
Yeah,
You have to. So, I think that that's great what you said there, man. You're telling somebody that they need to take their mind and take their thoughts and take their dreams and their goals, and they need to just add some determination and some initiative to what it is that they're doing in their lives.
Exactly, because like the very first stepping stone to success is failure. So you mean you gotta fail to succeed. It's gonna happen.
I get you, man. I get you. I can relate to that. It just brought something to my mind. About 1 year ago, a year and a half ago roughly, I went through a huge transition in my life, and I started eating really healthy. I started going to the gym almost every single day, and I started really caring about my body. I dropped a ton of weight, and I put on a whole bunch of muscle, and it was the healthiest I've been since I was probably 10 years old, I would imagine, right? And at some point, I hit this wall, or this moment, where I don't know if you would call it depression. I don't know if you would call it something interfering with my life, or me losing focus on what I cared about, or my initiative, right? Because I had it, and something distracted me. And after that happened, I was no longer focused. I was no longer ready to go out and do what I wanted to do. So if you were to give me advice right now, as a person who is starting back up with what I was doing before, but this time going harder, going stronger, and more focused and more goal-oriented, what would your advice to me personally be to say, hey, when you hit that thing in your life that's bringing you down and really messing with you, how do I or how does somebody else push through that?
I feel like a lot of that comes from like us wanting what we see around us or what others have. And I guess it's more or less like everybody's like, yeah, don't focus on what other people have or what they're doing. But then again, it's kind of hard not to. I fully understand there. Like, I've always wanted to be in a better place than where I am. But then again, somebody's always wanted to be in my place. You know what I mean? So you just got to keep working towards that and just work on you, I guess. Don't work on anybody else but yourself. You change what you want to change within yourself, and then hopefully others will see that and change that in themselves.
That's cool. So you're hoping that people are going to see you and they can be inspired by what it is that you're doing. I did a podcast with someone a couple of weeks ago, and his big goal in life was support. He wanted to support other people. It seemed to be the only thing that he cared about. And my message at the end of it was, what you're doing, how you're supporting another person is a beautiful thing. And it'd be great if there were more people like that in the world.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody out there to lend a helping hand or to be a shoulder for you. Right? But at the end of it, my message to everyone out there was, be supportive, but at the same time, remember, you can't be that supportive person unless you have yourself right first.
Yeah.
You gotta be mentally able to offer that support, or else you're gonna fail them.
Yeah, and yourself.
And yourself.
You're gonna get yourself in a hole too.
Yeah, man. So, I think that when we are aspiring to do something in our world, Michael said that we need to take the initiative and try our absolute best. It's really, really, really important. I'm going to stop trying to drop knowledge on you guys now. And I just kind of want to know, Michael, what are your goals in life right now? Give me 1, give me 10. Talk for 20 minutes if you want to.
Okay.
I don't care. But what are you trying to accomplish in your life right now, long-term and short-term?
I'm a fabricator, but I'm also an aspiring inventor. I love coming up with little things that help me out through my day. So I plan on having an invention at least one every 10 years. And say I make it to 70 and I'm already 20 as it is, I'll have 5 inventions. Whether they make me money or not, I don't care, as long as they fulfill one of my needs. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like my biggest thing in life is, like, my goal is everybody has to have power, right? I want to be able to make that free to people. There's no reason we should have to pay for necessities. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm not liberal, or what is it, want things given to me, but then again, I don't really care about government. I feel as if we should be able to have the right to do that ourselves and not have to rely on anyone.
So you don't think that we should have to rely on all of these regulations that they put on us as far as, I wouldn't call it amenities, what is it? It's just the consumer... Give me the word I'm looking for here. I'm drawing a blank.
What are you looking for?
Like power and water.
Oh, it's, supplies, like our
the
everyday
supplies.
needs. Like, I feel like those are God-given rights. Like, how are they going to sell us water? You know what I mean? Like, when it falls from the sky.
Yeah.
Or like a hunting or a fishing license. Like, this is the only way people used to feed themselves. You know what I mean?
But at the same time, don't you think that everybody in the United States is living longer?
But that's a lot to do with our health, like as in our how we take care of ourselves, our hygiene, our like even before we had vaccines, hygiene brought a lot of diseases to their demise. It was dropping drastically. Like, a lot of it has to do with how cleanly we are. We learned how bacteria spreads and different diseases spread. But, like, I don't feel as if...
Somebody that's not as inventive as yourself, though, right? See, when you talk about waterfalls from the sky, my brain immediately goes to, I need to get myself a big-ass bucket.
Yeah.
Right? And I need to get a tarp. And I need to figure out a way to make it so when it rains, that water funnels inside of this. Mm-hmm. Now, I would imagine that I need some type of a filter, right?
Well, I was going to tell you, there is a way that you could do this with a roof-based garden where the water's flowing through the plants and whatever's not collected through the plants is being filtered through the dirt. And then again, that's your filtration you're looking for through coal and stuff like that.
So there's a way, I saw something about that online where they have, it's like a set of sand and then coarse rocks and then coal and then a few other things. And this helps to filter and clean that water through. Mm-hmm. But as far as I know, collecting rainwater
is illegal.
Yeah. Right?
It's illegal.
And you don't agree with that?
Mm-mm. By no means.
Well,
I mean, I fully understand we're supposed to have water sources and stuff like that, but you're going to tell me that if rain falls on my property and I happen to have a pond, it's legal for me to drink water or get water out of that?
I get you, but if somebody's not educated in that specific thing, such as yourself, right?
Yeah.
If they don't understand how to properly make sure that their water that they're collecting is clean and regulated and filtered, regulated for themselves, not by the government, but making sure that they're taking the proper care of it. Sometimes people get lazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't care about those sort of things.
That's true.
What if this person has their water sitting out and it's stagnant and it's getting all of these bugs and critters inside of it, and there's some kind of a new disease that comes from this, or some disease that already exists?
That can happen.
They can get sick.
That can exactly what I was about to say. That can happen in your backyard. Here recently, I had to... we're staying with my girlfriend's father, and I had to clean the whole pool out. I drained the whole pool because it was a mosquito cesspool or cesspond.
Yeah.
And it's not good. And like you said, you can breed new diseases and stuff like that.
So there, in an argument, there would be reason to say that there's reason for the regulation on our water.
Oh, no, I understand that. I understand the rules and regulations and the bureaucracy behind everything. But my thing is, like, if I wanted to use that water source, whether it was a creek or flowing water, if I wanted to use that as a hydroelectric dam or build something into that, they'd want royalties.
So somebody owns that river or that creek?
Practically the government.
Because it is a water source.
Exactly.
So you're saying that you cannot use that water source to give yourself clean drinking water or power for electrical purposes in your home, right?
Pretty much.
But you think that we should be able to?
Yeah, but we're so far back on how everything's regulated. You realize, like, you're gonna say we have regulations on rainwater collection because somebody might have issues with stagnant water, when we have huge companies, multi-million-dollar companies, purposely pumping toxins into our water sources, and they're doing this because it actually makes them more money than paying for the disposal of this. They'd rather pay the fines because it's a lot cheaper than paying the actual disposal fees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
there's a lot of documentaries on stuff like that. I know that Flint was going through the really dirty water crisis that they had going on.
Flint received the funding to have their whole city repiped. You know what they did?
What?
They only repiped the section from the water source to like the edge of the city. So all the rest of the city pipes are still lead contaminated. They have that scale buildup from the acidic water sources that they've been drinking from. So all that does is still further decay. They didn't fix the water source. They just fixed one pipe linking the water source to the city.
It seems like a massive job, though, to go to every single pipe in every single home and replace all of those things.
Well, as a plumber, nowadays, we use this stuff called blue ice or PEX, and it's literally huge rubber tubes. It can hold like 600, 700 PSI, depending on how big the diameter of the tubing is. But this is what we're running water through our grounds now, and it works proficiently. It goes into the ground like a glove. It just pops in. There's no need for fittings or any of this.
And what does that accomplish?
No pipe welding. It's so much quicker to put in, and it lasts so much longer.
So you're saying take out the pipes, take them out, and then install, what is it called?
PEX.
PEX.
They call it blue ice when it gets bigger than like 2 inches.
Okay. But so, I guess my question is, you know plumbing, you know it really well. If you were there, right, and you were one of those workers, how many homes are affected by this? On a scale, how many do you think?
I think it was close to 400,000 residents and probably close to like 150,000 to... Yeah, probably 160,000 homes.
And you said they're called PEX, right?
The pipe itself is called PEX. Yeah.
PEX. So, for you, how long would it take 1,000 people to replace all of the piping that connects from the main line in the city to all of those homes? Just a rough idea.
If the homes are ran in copper and stuff like that, a rough idea took 1,000 people. 5 people I know we could run in a day's time easily 8 non-football fields of this PEX with the little interchanging like couplings that come together and make everything fit to the actual houses. So we could probably get a good bit of it done. 8 times 3, 16, that's 1,600 feet. So we could do subdivisions and cul-de-sacs within days.
Within days?
Yeah.
So you're basically saying there's no reason that they shouldn't have already been able to least accomplish a good portion of this.
Exactly, and just like our infrastructure with our bridges and stuff falling apart, it's just laziness. They're running around doing little, we're going to see who bids the lowest so we can pay the least amount of money. Like just like with a tattoo, you pay cheap money, you're going to get a cheap tattoo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You pay decent money, you're going to get a decent tattoo.
Yeah, absolutely. So we rely on the government for some things.
Yes.
We have to rely on them for it, right?
We have no choice. It's how society's set up. Like when we stopped bartering and we gained this money system, we threw all of our manpower out the door. Like they have full control. What I mean by that is, what is your job? What do you? I'm a fabricator, right?
Right.
But to the government, my job is Social Security. I'm literally a Social Security employer. You know what I mean? I'm a government employee, but I don't get government benefits. My thing is, they have a system where I'm just mainly making money. My job is to make money and spend that money, and that's how our society and economy works. Exactly. I'm a consumer to them. That's all I am.
Yeah.
So if I started saving all my money, you started saving your money, all the consumers started saving their money, there would be no economy. You know what I mean?
But how do you save all your money when you have rent, you have electric, you have water, you have cell phone, you have internet, food?
Like I was saying, all of our necessities, they're making us pay for, like water, electricity. These are less things that wouldn't be bills. And half the time...
I'm going to throw a curveball at you, right?
Hit me with it.
We need clean water. Mm-hmm. It's necessary.
Yes.
For health and for disease-free world, right? So, would you, right, you personally, would you be a volunteer to build a clean water filtration facility and then work there 5 days or 6 days a week for free for the rest of your life or until retirement?
I mean, if I had the money to do it, I don't see why not. But my thing is, our cars are autonomous now. Our cars can drive themselves. Why? Our power plants can run themselves. Our power plants can literally tell us if it's overheating, hit a switch by itself and cool off a core. You know what I mean? So everything's autonomous. We have the technology and the ability to make things do it themselves. Now, we don't have the ability to give it a false intelligence and let it think for itself. That's where we would still have to have human interaction with most of our stuff. Because here's a good example for me the other day. I was out working in the yard, and I was pressure washing off the house. But I was having my girlfriend help me out by scrubbing some of the rough spots. Now, I was thinking if that scrub brush had a brain of its own, it'd be able to go and find those spots that needed to be hit. But otherwise...
Right. So, what you're saying is, the reason that they're charging us is because there's people that work there, because they haven't invested the time into making something autonomous. Right?
Pretty much.
So, you know for sure that we could make and build something that could run on its own and hydro-powered clean water and make it so we could all receive water without the help of any human beings whatsoever. It just needs to be built in the first place with some taxpayer money. Mm-hmm. I suppose that would be the route, right? And then after that point, it just runs forever.
Well, just like everything, their motors have wear dates, and their copper cores can wear out, and the magnets can lose their magnetism and stuff like that. So, I mean, there would be...
Upkeep.
So there's still mechanics and stuff like that, but that's all like your vehicle has, 75,000 miles or 5,000 miles till you get an oil change. Some of them are trying to bump that up to a whole year, you know what I mean? They're trying to make that so it's less and less. And we're learning with so much technology now that we're making synthetic oils that are out of fish oil that will outlast us. You know what I mean?
Do you think that we're on a good path? Do you think that we're going to get to a world that you feel in your mind is more toward how you think?
I don't see it happening. Like I said, society's too set in its ways. I'd love for everybody to... I feel like if everybody had a purpose, or a main job, like how everybody used to have last names, like blacksmith. That used to be somebody's last name, but that also used to be their job in the town. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or farmer.
That guy's the blacksmith.
And
you go to him. He does that.
I know, a kid named Lane Farmer, and he would have been a farmer in his time. You know what I mean? So everybody has a purpose in society, and nobody's sitting on their ass. Yeah. Now, I fully understand we have some people that have no choice. They just can't work. But if we have everybody else pulling their own weight, it pulls their weight too. You know what I mean?
That's heavy stuff to think about, man. I love talking about stuff like that. I have to go, but
I fully understand.
I absolutely enjoyed talking with you, Michael. I want to come back, hopefully, maybe in the next couple of months, and I want to talk with you more about your thoughts and ideas on how maybe you think that the world could run more autonomously or run better, or maybe you want to share some more ideas about a few of your inventions, or maybe even give just a little bit of tidbits here and there about a thought of how you think that something could function better. You know, I know that you don't want to give away any secrets, right? Because nobody should do that. Yeah. When you got something that you believe is special like that, you keep that to yourself, because people are thieves. Yeah. Right? You don't want to share that kind of stuff with people. But I'm sure that you can shed some light on a few specific ideas and things.
Well, I mean, my idea is not a new idea. People have done it.
Yeah.
But the people that have done it have been bought out by the government or taken out by the government.
That's heavy, man.
Yeah.
I like talking about stuff like conspiracy stuff, too.
Yeah, oh, man.
That's heavy. We're going to talk about all that sort of stuff. So, message from Michael Mays today is, without initiative, it's just a thought.
Yeah.
Stop thinking and go do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. That's right. Go be active. Drink you some more water. Eat healthier. Stop buying stuff in the frozen food section. Go be beautiful and go help somebody out. And most importantly, care about yourself, right? care about yourself, make yourself better so you can make somebody else better. It brings you happiness. It brings you joy. Thanks so much for being with me, Michael. Say bye to everybody.
Bye, everybody.
You want to share an Instagram?
I'm going to change it here soon. We'll probably drop it later. But
right.
Stay classy, Atlanta.
Stay classy, Atlanta. That's a little Ron Burgundy thing there. I got you, man. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. I will be back next week sometime with something new on. Have a good night.